and welcome to this episode of Avitar Face to Face. My name is Kinch-Thomas, and it is a pleasure to have you with us today. We have on the show, well, let me just say that, at Avitar Face to Face, we want to bring you all the news of the arts and culture happening in Westchester and beyond. So we have wonderful guests who inform you and hopefully encourage you to come out and support the arts in Westchester. So today we have with us someone who has been making enormous strides in New Rochelle for several decades. She's a ceramic artist. She is an arts advocate. She's an art space developer. She is a producer. She does it all. Please welcome to the show, Judith Weber.
Hi.
Hi, Judith.
This is great to be here.
Oh, and it's wonderful to have you.
Thank you.
We met several years ago, and I've always admired the work that you're doing in New Rochelle.
Thank you very much.
Yes, and you're doing more and more,
yeah.
as we have talked about.
Right.
But I mentioned several things. That you're involved in. I want to start with your work as an artist.
Okay.
Because I've been to your studio and you have some extraordinary pieces.
Thank you.
You work in clay.
I work in, everything I do is ceramic.
Okay.
Right. Though lately I'm adding a little found objects to some of the things that I'm doing, and I'll tell you about that. But everything is ceramic based, yes, everything.
And the lines, they are so exquisite.
Thanks.
I love the lines. You have a particular philosophy about your ceramic
I do.
work.
I mean, I've been doing this for over 50 years.
Wow.
It's the only thing I've ever done as an artist, and I actually am really lucky that I've actually supported myself with my work all these years. But I think for me, it's always been about the purity of form, the simplicity of style, the essential need to be totally functional and affordable.
Okay.
And so I've developed all of my work around that, whether it be my product lines, because I do design product. I worked for Dansk for many years, but I design my own product, both tabletop and non-functional, but basically tabletop.
Right.
And it's been really exciting because I live in a world full of ceramic artists. And the one thing I think has always differentiated me is that I've never really had new work. I kind of found something I really liked, which was really, really simple. And I use it as a canvas. So my focus is color and touch. So everything feels good, and it looks good, and it's serviceable and elegant, and looks very expensive, but actually it's quite affordable. My philosophy being that you should be able to break it and replace it without having an anxiety attack or insuring it.
Okay, wonderful. So. And I must say, it is really beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank
and
you.
It's so beautiful that you wonder, can I actually, take some tea out of
you
that?
Can,
or some,
right.
Yes.
My teapot, which is actually the signature piece of all of the work I do, which I've been doing now. I did it first as a handmade item, and it became so popular so quickly I could not reproduce it by hand. And so I developed a mold for it, and so we're able to now cast it. It is a cast product. It is not all made, I'm not throwing it any longer by hand.
Right.
So we make approximately 100 a month. We work in the studio. It's handmade by myself and my assistant, and it is totally serviceable. I mean, you have to treat it with care. It's not something you would knock around. It's not cast iron. It's not metal. So you do have to be careful with it, but you don't put it in the dishwasher. But it's totally serviceable, and we sell so many of them. I can't believe that people aren't using them all over the country.
All over, right.
They really, I sell them in the United States, Canada, abroad, Europe. So.
And it makes the table
look
beautiful.
Exquisite.
Look, yes.
Right.
It absolutely
and I'm all
does.
about that.
Yes.
It should taste good and look good.
And look good, yes. So, I mean, I want folks to know that your work has been featured just all over the country. I mean, in magazines such as Gourmet Magazine, Architectural Digest, Martha Stewart Living, and of course the museum shops around the country.
Yeah.
So
that's
the Smithsonian.
Yes, for years ago, the Smithsonian, a Museum of Art and Design in New York, the Fine Arts in Chicago, the Museum of the Modern Museum in San Francisco. I think my product is most appropriate for either high-end product-oriented galleries, not fine arts galleries, but where they have design items, and museum stores, because it looks like a museum item.
It does.
It does.
Absolutely does.
And it's become a collector's item. I mean, I know people. I get notes from people all the time. That they carry it, they love it, they've used it. And every once in a while, I'll get a note from someone. I chipped the lid. Do you still make it? Yes, I still make it. Yes, I do.
Okay. So that's my classic tea.
Yeah.
And my art for the table.
Yes.
Those are the two themes.
Those are the two functional themes.
Functional.
Right.
Okay.
That's right.
Then you also have art for the wall.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is a tile. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, a long time ago, when you sit over a wheel a long time for hours and hours, and then you are producing, at a casting table for a long time, the need to sort of find a way to be creative. When you're doing production work, after a while, it's not very creative. It's very fulfilling, but it's not very creative.
Okay.
And so the need to do something creative is to use clay as it were a canvas. And so I paint on tile, and I don't paint pictures.
Okay.
I use glazes as a surface, and my tendency is to use glazes inappropriately.
Okay.
So if glazes are designed to mature at, let's say, 1900 degrees, I fire them to 2600 degrees. And I blend them and I change them, and I have wonderful responses to the surfaces. So they're very beautiful tiles. They do wonderful things.
Okay.
They can either be for installation, for backsplashes or fireplaces, or art. I have an exhibit I'm part of an exhibit that opens up May 2nd at Tandoori Restaurant in Portchester, which is all ceramic artists, and the owner of the restaurant, wanted anything from the ovens. So it's all fired work. It's really very beautiful. So I do a lot of art tile. I also do commission work.
Right.
So work with architects and designers, and for instance, the donor wall in the New Rochelle Public Library, which is a porcelain bas-relief, which looks like metal but is actually porcelain.
It's porcelain.
Carved porcelain.
Wow.
Yeah. So I will do almost anything if it's connected to clay. Now, if you give me a challenge and it's clay related, I'm home.
So someone can actually have a custom piece made based on something that they bring to you, or something that an experience that they explain to you.
Exactly. Wonderful. I do very custom work. Some work I do actually with members of the family. I did a fireplace for someone based on their trip to Italy, and I worked with their 12-year-old daughter.
Wow.
Who wanted it? It's all mosaic.
Okay.
And right now I'm doing something called memory mosaics, and I'm working with seniors primarily, but creating mosaic pieces that integrate pictures of their family and pieces of jewelry and things that are like memorabilia.
Wonderful.
So you can do anything.
What a keepsake that
it is. It becomes a keepsake. It's a wonderful process. It's really, you don't need to ever know anything about clay. But for me, it's just another way of connecting to people, being creative, and staying young.
Okay, which all of the above
are
very good goals.
I think so.
To have to work on. But let's, we're going to move on because we have a short amount of time, and you have a tremendous amount of work and projects and just I think mission in terms of the arts that you were involved in, and one of those, which is a fabulous story, is all about Media Loft.
Right.
Media Loft, you had a vision back in the 80s.
In 1978, actually, I formed a partnership with a friend. Both of us needed studio space, and we discovered that artists tend to be fairly risk-aversive, but neither one of us had anything to lose, and so we took a space, divided it up, and sublet to artists in an affordable way, but basically became a business for me because by taking the risk, I ended up having lower exposure. But everybody got what they needed, and that's been sort of my philosophy. Make sure everybody gets what they need, including me. But it became so popular because what happened was then when you create a community of artists that feel like they now have space to work and space to collaborate, it grows incredibly. So we took one space that was 6,000, then expanded to 20,000 square feet. And then the gentleman that owns the building I'm in now actually saw an article about this growing arts loft movement that actually was just two of us, and offered to sell us his building. And we bought it. Almost like bought it over the phone. I mean, I knew the building and I wanted the building. And then we were able to get investor partners to come and help develop it. And it was originally 33,000 square feet, divided up amongst 30 artists in separate studios. And we worked together for years and had a wonderful sense of community, which is something I hunger for. You know, I'm an old bohemian person. You know, real. You know, a flower child from the '60s, and I'm all about community. So we took that, and then in the very late 1990s, there was an enormous need for artists to have affordable space to live and work. And so we converted the building. It took a while and changed some laws and had to go to the state to convince them that it was an appropriate thing to do. But we converted the building as a condominium. So now it's an artist in residence condominium, and there are 11 of us who live and work there, and 10 who own their studios. But we are now all owners, and so we have secure space. Which is wonderful for artists because they're usually the first ones that get kicked out of neighborhoods that gentrify.
That's right.
Right.
That
so
is so right. And they're usually the first ones to go into a neighborhood and bring it, lift it to the place
when
where
I moved into that neighborhood, people
in.
thought we were crazy. What, are you out of your mind?
Right.
But you know, there's something about the challenge of again, being creative and not worrying really so much about one's risk. I mean, New Rochelle is hardly an unsafe place to be.
Oh no,
you know, so it wasn't elegant property, but it was exciting, and now it's elegant.
Yes,
now the building is elegant.
Fabulous building. I mean, this is a 100-year-old
historic landmark
building, right?
With a full gallery,
that
supports all the artists in residence, plus opportunities for artists from everywhere to come and have shows. And we all have, in fact, we have an open studio on April 20th, which is Saturday, April 20th, from 2 to 7 p.m., where the building will be open. And you'll get a chance to meet 9 or 10 of the artists who'll be working in their spaces and sharing their skills.
Oh, wonderful. So, now, let's give the address of the building.
Okay, it's 50 Webster Avenue in New Rochelle. Zip is 10801 if you're going to Yahoo. It's 1 block down from Boston Post Road, which is the cross street. And we have parking available on the lot across the street. So if people are coming, don't worry about where to park. Just pull across the street and come on in. Yeah.
So this is, let's tell them the date again.
Okay, it's Saturday, April 20th, from 2 o'clock in the afternoon till 7 in the evening. Come join us for a glass of wine, open to the public.
Wonderful, open to the public, and they'll be able to go to the various studios and to the gallery downstairs.
And they can check our website, which is www.medialoftarts.com. And they'll see directions are on there and contact information if they want to reach me and have any questions. Everything is up there.
Wow. What a model this is and can be for other communities in order, in terms of embracing and supporting the artists, you know, who bring so much to us.
They do, yeah. You know? And one of the problems about developing artist space is when developers develop property, they're really looking at turning it over and the bottom line, which is a very good business model. But when artists develop building, they're users. And so the profit line is a little less important, though it is important. I mean, you're actually developing property. But the goal really is to create a successful community that's stable. And we have no turnover. We sold out in 4 months. And we have no turnover.
That is fantastic.
And so we're since I think it's 2003. We're just there, and we all get along, and it's a phenomenal environment.
Imagine if that could be duplicated. How many more times in downtown New Rochelle and in other towns in and throughout Westchester?
It would be wonderful.
How that would
even if it wasn't a condo situation, even if there are spaces that are available for rent for artist studios. My belief, and from my experience, is that leasing space in and of itself to artists is not going to work. That what you really need to do is to create a program and a lead artist who, in exchange for free rent, takes on the responsibility of developing the community. That's really all we've ever done. Whenever we've developed stuff, we've been the lead artists. We have an investment. You know, we really believe in the project. It's bigger than just our individual work. But I'll tell you, my work has grown so much because of that. Because there's so much collaboration, but also, you know, when you have 20 people in a building, you're open to their customers. You're not by yourself. You're never by yourself.
It's all about community.
It's all about community and how community supports community. And I mean, politically, and I don't know if we even want to have that discussion on this program, but I really believe in the social importance of a thriving community who identifies common needs and works to create the success of feeding that. You know, and it's hard when you live in a world where so many people have different needs. That's a very hard thing to do.
It is, because sometimes people don't understand how their needs can intersect.
Exactly.
And how, through that they can then support and grow together.
Right. And it's really a belief in that kind of system, because you don't get your reward right away.
Right.
It definitely is an investment of time, energy, and labor.
Right.
And then, but the rewards come. And wherever this has been developed, in Baltimore, in Boston, in California, it's true for all of them. And
you are a true arts advocate.
I am.
Yes, you are, and an activist, I would say.
Yes.
Because in your words, or just from what I've heard you express, you feel that the arts can be a driving engine for economic growth.
Absolutely.
For social interaction. And what you're doing downtown New Rochelle is really commendable, and what you have been doing for several decades now.
Right.
So I think that's what draws other artists to you, to your organization, to the Loft, and allows people to say, we can make a difference, and we can make this work.
And we'd like to inspire others to do it. I mean, our impact on downtown New Rochelle, we've had an impact, but as an organization, as president of the New Rochelle Council of the Arts, my reach is only so far.
Right.
And you're fighting the economy, you're fighting people who are really struggling to survive on their own, who may not have shared values. And so it is, but the arts is a driving force. There have been so many studies about how the arts employ people.
Absolutely.
They pay salaries, and people who enjoy the arts shop.
Yes.
And pay sales tax
and drink and
all of that.
Go out.
So so if you have a vibrant community, a vibrant, culturally rich downtown, which hopefully New Rochelle will continue to work towards developing, you have a much greater chance of being a successful downtown.
Yes.
And you can develop and develop and develop, but if that piece of it is not developed with some real vision, then you're continually kind of reinventing the wheel to get where you're going. And it's always hard, because the arts, people really don't understand. They don't understand. I get on my soapbox, they still don't understand.
But they do enjoy, and they do relish the experience.
Yes, they do.
It's making that connection between that and what it then does for the community and for the economy of the town.
Right.
And
it's creating your allies, and the allies are created from their successful experience with being involved with the arts, and not just patrons to their business, but how that feeds in through arts. And it's a long road. It was easier to do my building, truly easier to do my building.
But you
I was in control.
you are so committed. And you take this work in many different areas. So whether it's from your creative work, your own creative work, or whether it's from development of space. But as you mentioned, you're also the president of the New Rochelle Council of the Arts. So that is another avenue by which you are, on your platform, and allowing people to, or helping people to see. What that can make as a difference. So one of the things I know that you've done year after year is the New Rochelle Arts Fest.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it was really interesting, because actually it was inspired by an event that was created by the Clay Art Center and Arts Westchester called All Fired Up, which was like 6 years ago, which really pulled the entire county together on a map, highlighting venues that were doing arts, but mostly ceramic exhibitions. And of course, that's my heart. And what I did that year is I wanted so much to be a part of it that I created a ceramic show in my building, and then decided to get everybody in New Rochelle that had a space to do the same.
Same thing,
And so we were 7 venues then, and we got a trolley for our community, and it was so successful, as was the entire project All Fired Up, which was an amazing experience to feel you could drive almost anywhere in the county and see beautiful exhibitions that were all driven by one element. Basically, it was clay.
Okay.
So we got a trolley, and we had a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and followed it with a fundraiser that was quite successful. And every year since, we've done our annual Arts Fest. So this is our 4th annual Arts Fest, or our 5th actually. And we're a full, I brought last year's brochure just to show you, but we are a full weekend. It's 2 days. It's from 12 to 5, Saturday and Sunday, September 28th and 29th this year.
Okay.
And
we
are,
up the,
this is amazing because we have gone from, I mean, we need to find funding. Well, that's yours.
That's mine, yes.
But you can see the amount, over 20 venues and additional artists all participating together. This is the map.
This is the map, right?
Right, the map that takes you from New Rochelle into Pelham, to the Pelham Arts Center and the Pelham Picture House. And this year there'll be more venues added. But we have a wonderful group of people. Everybody, this is free and open to the public. Amazing. There is no fee for this. You get on the trolley, you can entertain yourself on the trolley. This year we'll have music, and we'll create small walking tours amongst clumps of artists. Like I'm on a walking tour that would be Charles Vizino, Museum Editions, and he's like the most famous person in the world, 3D pop-up artist.
Okay.
And you walk from there to Media Loft. You walk up the street and around the corner to Transform, which is Transform Custom Furniture and Showroom. They have a phenomenal gallery there. Okay. You can come back and walk, I think, around the corner on Main Street to the Parkham Building with Oshie Rabin's new gallery. We're just talking today about her being involved. You know, so it's a nice little walking tour, and then you have the downtown walking tour, which Eric Woodland's been developing nicely, which is the 2 bid buildings, so the bid artists and the pack house, and John Reverell's new wonderful little gallery. Oh my! You know,
so it's the gallery spaces, it's the studios, but you have even more than that because I know that there have been some dance events, there have been maybe some theater events.
This year we're working on even people that are not going to be performing that weekend or open that weekend. We'll be having a calendar for people that maybe during the month of September we'll be having events where people can contact them for tickets, but also we just want people to understand how much there is, because when people say to me, you know, there's nothing to do in New Rochelle, I'm thinking, what planet do they live on? You know, I can hardly breathe for all the things that I do. I have an incredible social life.
Yes, but you are singularly, I think, taking on arts and culture in New Rochelle and just moving it forward. So.
You know, it's really, and there are really significant people that are involved. There are other members of the board or the council that have been wonderful. And you have the library, Barbara Davis at the library, which offers such a culturally rich environment. It's amazing. And Eric Woodland, and trying to develop the pack house. And I do believe that the core of what will come has to come from the downtown area, because people from New Rochelle need to know there's a place to go.
Absolutely.
So little by little, it'll happen. Takes time. I'm doing this for 50 years. Look I have a few more years left.
Making wonderful strides, I must say.
Thank you.
So now give our audience the website where they can find out more information about Art Fest and all of the events that will be happening.
Okay, that is the www.newrochellearts.org. And you can go on there. There's a full calendar of everything that you can find daily for everything that's happening all over Westchester. It's great to become a member, because then you are I guess what you call you are the recipient of a massive emails constantly about what's happening where, you know, before anybody even knows about it.
Up to date, that's right.
Let you know. But we have a lot of things happening this year. We have the Arts Fest, but we're doing a series of lectures in collaboration with the New Rochelle Art Association and the library. Wonderful speakers, opportunities for field trips that really focus on the arts development, all kinds of things. We really want to engage the community.
I mean, what it sounds like is there's something for everybody. There's something for families.
Always. And we have the summer concerts.
And
every Wednesday,
lovers.
July and August, we have music free at the Hudson Park Band Shell.
Okay, see that? Wow. So much to do, and so much of the community that is involved in making it a wonderful experience.
And I'm determined to continue it, because, as I told you, we're looking at opening up a new business downtown.
Yes, please tell us about this, because I had your partner, Maria, on the show a little while ago. And
she's wonderful.
I must say that I mean, my jaw just kept dropping every time she introduced a product that was made from something that people would normally have thrown away.
Right.
And they were gorgeous.
Right.
Gorgeous things. Please tell us about
It's really interesting because Maria's goal was to expand her business, which is products that are fair trade, global and global fair trade, local handmade, basically, as she would say, upcycle, forward fashion.
Okay.
But the underlying belief is in sustainability,
right.
you know, and that you're buying things, not to buy products that end up in the landfill.
Right.
And, you know, is how to reclaim the things that we use and make something beautiful. She's looking to do that, and I was looking for a space to have a gallery and events and all the things that I love to do.
Okay.
And over lunch, really just happenstance, because we hadn't seen each other in 20 years.
Wow.
You know, and I was trying to get her to come to the marketplace that I run with Eric Woodland.
Right.
And we were talking, and she's telling me her vision for herself, and I'm thinking, I think this is like a great blend.
There's something.
I get my gallery, she gets her a vegan cafe and tapas bar, and we're going to be a really great, it's a really an experience. It's called Recology Lifestyle.
Right.
And it's about how you shop, how you think, what you eat, what you enjoy, and what you listen to.
And there's going to be a new space coming downtown New Rochelle.
Yes, we are.
I encourage people to go whenever the space is open, because you will find things there that will just fascinate you. They're innovative, they're beautiful, they're museum-like pieces, but they are affordable, and as you said, it's a lifestyle.
Right, and we'll be offering educational workshops for the community, primarily children, to really get people to understand the importance of sustainability, of greening as much as possible. But you know, our planet will only survive so long if we don't start to take real control.
Good care of it.
Yes,
that's
and
right.
so that's really what our message is.
Okay, fantastic. Judith, we would need an hour, really, I think,
I know.
to really talk about everything that you're doing, because we touched on several things, but I know there's more, because that's the essence of who you are in terms of making a difference through art and in making a difference in your community. And we thank you.
Thank you for having me. This is great. I just love to share what's going on, because there's so much, and we intend to work with you, and you're doing so much. Well, so it's wonderful.
We're all do as much as we can together to make it work.
Good.
So we want to thank Judith Weber for being with us today. It's been a wonderful show, and we encourage you to check out New Rochelle Council of the Arts and Judith's site, as she mentioned earlier, so that you can support and be a part of what's going on to make New Rochelle vibrant and a really wonderful place to be and to live and to work. And we thank you for joining us today on Avitar Face to Face, and we hope to welcome you back again the next time.